Yeah, that's good. Hi, everybody. Well, it was January 2nd, about 13 years ago. I'm outside taking down the Christmas tree lights. Because in my family, Christmas tree light season was from the week before Thanksgiving till the day after New Year's. Lights came down. So I'm out, it's nice and cold, I'm taking down the lights. I look over, I see my neighbor. Let's call him John. It's not his real name, but I'm afraid he might be here tonight. So he's in a robe and he's standing in front of his door. I said, "Hey, John, what's going on?" He goes, "I locked myself out. And my father's in there, and I'm not even sure that he's alive." So I lived in a Queen Victorian row home in Reading, Pennsylvania. He lived next door. The houses are joined together. There's a breezeway and 15-foot drop to the cement concrete below that. There's a little alleyway in between our two houses. And in my house, I had a little skeleton key that probably would have opened any one of those old row homes in the whole block. I said, "John, would you like me to get my skeleton key?" And he said, "Yeah, sure." So I went, got my skeleton key, brought it back, handed it to him, and he looked at me and he said, "Can you do it for me?" I said, "Oh boy." For me to do it for him meant that I had to go to the back of the house, climb up a trestle, over a wall, up to the second floor open balcony of his home. When I did that, I opened it up, the skeleton key worked. So I walked through that quiet house. I didn't look left, I didn't look right. I just got back out there, I said, "Here you go." He went inside, I went back to doing the lights. He came back out in about 5 minutes, walked over to the breezeway and extended his hand. I totally expected him to say, "Thank you for getting me into the house. My father is okay. We're good now." But when I extended my hand, his arm grabbed it like that, and he said, "Do you believe in God?" And I said, "Yes." And he jumped across that breezeway, and he was behind me, and he's banging my head into the wall, and I'm trying to get him off. And it turned out that all those judo lessons I took in 9th grade, they didn't do shit. I'm trying one thing after another that I learned in 9th grade. None of it worked. My son, who was in high school at the time, came out, and I said, "David, call 911. And then like that, he picked me up like a barbell and threw me over the edge. And I was like extended above this, what looked like forever fall to the earth. Time stood still because I know physics and I would have hit the floor really fast, but I had time to think about all the people I knew who had dived into shallow waters, did flips on trampolines, and ended up in wheelchairs and respirators. And I remember the thought in my head going, "This can go very bad." And that was it. Next thing I knew, I was like coming to. I could see an ambulance out on the street. I could see my neighbor in handcuffs. And my wife was there, and she said, "You have to go to the hospital." And I said, "Oh, no, I don't have to go to the hospital." And she said, "Yes, you do. You're bleeding. You don't even know you're bleeding." And I went, "Oh, I'm bleeding? Oh, okay." So the ambulance took me to the hospital. I was put into a CAT scan. And when I came out, I was taken back to this examination room in the ER. And the doctor came in and he said, "Excuse me, your brain is bleeding. You have 6 fractured ribs. You have 3 fractured vertebrae. You have a fractured orbital bone. You have a huge hematoma here. So do you know what I'm telling you? And I go, no, I don't know what you're telling me. He said, you can't stay here. I said, what do you mean I can't stay here? So we've summoned a helicopter. It's coming to take you away, haha. So I got my one and only helicopter ride to Lehigh Valley Neurointensive Care Unit, where, as you can see, I, over the years, have healed pretty well. My neighbor, thank you very much. My neighbor spent several years in and out of psychiatric hospitals and prisons awaiting trial. Trial never came. He was originally found innocent by virtue of insanity. The district attorney told me, I can't tell you what we found in his psychological examination, but I can tell you that it was bizarre. Now, our local paper did a big story. The headline said, man, ooh, what does that mean? 60 seconds?
Just keep going.
Man, police say man thrown over porch. And then it described how my son had guarded my body with a shovel prior to the police arriving there. What it didn't say was that shovel was a decorative holiday shovel with a little candy canes and stuff on it, so he was like guarding me. And I didn't know that John had jumped down where I was unconscious and began licking the blood off of my forehead. Yeah, so anyway, it took me a while. I play guitar. It took me several months till I could get a chord, but I couldn't lift my fingers off the chord. But things are good. So it was a damn close call, and I live to die another day.